And I'm open with saying it. There's nothing wrong with making a profit. And looking after your team. Because if you're undercharging, you can't then pay your guys what they deserve.
On today's episode of the All Business Baby podcast, I'm speaking to Spyro from Olympic Electrical and Sales Sparky Systems.
The pub ruins you as well a little bit, because if you're speaking to the wrong people, it's the blind leading the blind. My old boss charged this, so I'm going to charge that. But your old boss wasn't making money.
All right, Spyro, thank you for joining the All Business Baby podcast. Appreciate you coming onto the pod.
Thanks for having me, Phil. Awesome to be here.
Spyro, could you tell the audience a little bit about yourself and about your businesses?
So I'm Spyro Ferizis from Olympic Electrical, but also have Sparky Sales Systems. And Olympic Electrical is a residential household electrical company in Sydney. And as well as that, we do a coaching business for electricians that are looking to scale to the 7 figures.
Excellent. Before we get into all the business details or stories about the business, just wanted to start with your name, Spyro. It's a pretty unique name.
Definitely. Yeah, it's an unusual one.
Did anyone call you Spyro the Dragon
Yeah.
as a kid? Yeah, I'm sure you got that lot.
Definitely. Like so it's actually the shortened version as well, and even that's tough for people, Spyro. So my full name is Spiridon, Greek background, Greek heritage, first generation Greek Australian, and especially where I grew up in Beecroft, it's a very Anglo area.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
So having a name like Spiridon growing up was unusual thing.
Yeah, because I thought you would have grown up in the sort of Greek areas of Sydney.
Yeah, and Sylvania, St. Susie,
yeah,
south of Sydney.
That's all the Greeks are.
That's where all the Greeks, and that's the thing. That's why I sound Anglo myself. You know, I don't have that European sort of tang in. You know, the voices of Sydney. I guess if you say that, you know, that Western Sydney, the Western Sydney thing, or South Sydney sort of lip. It's even my missus, which was where I met her at Argyle, like. One of the first things she said to me, she goes, good old Argyle. She actually said to me, you don't sound Greek. And I was like, what does that even mean?
What's Greek supposed to sound like?
Who knows? Not me.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's good. No, so glad to get that out of the way. Spyro the Dragon. Any other nicknames?
I get everything. I get, roll call was always a struggle with teachers, like Spiridian, Spyridon, and... Spiridon, Spyro for short. That's the easiest way to do it. And it's just, because I spell it with a Y as well. I mix it up. So,
okay, so it's with a Y. No, that's good. Well, look, Spyro, the reason why I got you on today, because I think your story is an inspiring one. Before you started these two businesses, the Olympic Electrical and Sparky Sales Systems, what were you doing before?
How far back are we going?
As far back as you like.
Well, I was even working being first gen Greek Australian, I was always had like a strong work ethic. You got to work. I was working since 14. But even prior to 14, I was door knocking cookbooks for the school, just learning that work ethic. I was then selling Avon door to door because I wasn't.
Avon.
Remember that? Remember Avon makeup?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was doing Avon makeup, and that was because I couldn't get a job at McDonald's yet. I was like 13, 14. So I was selling Avon makeup, doing the subscription stuff, doing the catalogs, doing the door knocks, all of that. Then got a job at McDonald's as soon as I turned 14. Worked at Thornley McDonald's for 4 or 5 years. I even did that during my apprenticeship for a little bit as well. Then did my apprenticeship as soon as I finished school. Last day of my HSC, next day was my apprenticeship. Got into electrical quite organically because it was just the natural thing to do because I was hanging around skate parks, surfing, skating, BMX, all of that stuff, riding dirt bikes. Again, a bit unusual for Greek to
electrician.
Be. Like when you're in that sort of scene, it's just natural to gravitate towards a trade.
Yep.
And everyone goes, be a Sparky. They all pretty much had this general gist that Sparkies have less labor.
They're bludgers.
They're bludgers. Yeah, that's it. That's what they say, right? And then they reckon everyone was saying, they make bank. It's so much easier than plumbing and this. I was like, make bank. You make it more than I was like, okay, that sounds pretty cool. And then I did work experience. I was like, okay, I could see this. And then, but the vision was always to have a business in it. And I've got no issue with saying this. Like, I was always interested in the business side. Like, loved the whole McDonald's entrepreneurial thing and the business side. And even when I started my apprenticeship from day one, the vision was tunnel vision, get my ticket and start a business as soon as I get that. And they call it in the trades, they call it the license to print money. But unfortunately, which we'll go into after, it's a lot of people are doing it tough and a lot of Sparkies are actually struggling. And that's why we've got the other thing, which we'll touch on later. Yeah. But so went into my apprenticeship, long story short, and started the business at 21 years old thereof. Olympic Electrical.
So you just gone out by yourself at the age of 21?
Yeah. Went straight into
That
it.
would have been daunting the first year, just
Yeah,
making that decision.
I'm pretty gung ho. I'm just like, let's go. You know what I mean? So I spent all my money that I had. I had savings. So like I worked a lot. You know, I worked 3-4 days a week whilst going to school in high school. Like I said, McDonald's. Like I made more money working at McDonald's than I did my apprenticeship, right? So that's
go figure.
Yeah, apprenticeship's tough. I started at $320 a week. Like that's $320 a week. Had a Toyota Supra. You know, the fuel cost me more. You know what I mean?
Good car.
Yeah, but it was an NA one. I will put that in. It was a non-turbo one because I was on my P's. So, and then sort of went into it and away we went. But I spent all my money on my first van, a Hyundai iLoad. Went to Pennant Hills Hyundai, bought my first iLoad, and didn't have money to deck it out because you need shelving. You're being a tradie, you need stuff for your tools. And I was like, how am I going to pay for that? So I did half because I couldn't afford the whole thing. So then I sold my dirt bike, my beloved dirt bike. You know, again, sacrifice. So sold my dirt bike, did the other half, did a few more jobs, did the shelving, and away I went.
Wow, first year. That's a good tough story to look back upon.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I guess, you know, it's been some time now, but, you know, how long has Olympic Electrical been alive for, been going for, and how have you grown it to this size?
Yeah, it's been 6-7 years so far and still going and still growing, always forever growing. And when we first got into it, me being me, I was like, and there's different types of electrical, and I was big on construction at that time because that's what I was exposed to as an apprentice in the construction industry, working for builders and things like that. Now, a lot of traders would understand this. Working for builders, you get low margins, unpaid variations, cash flow issues, and a lot of email battles and just headaches. And I'm a yes man. I'm there to help people. I'm there to do right by people, but the love wasn't coming back, right? Yep. So got to a point, I was like 23, 24, I was owed $200K. I would call the builders and they would all say, oh yeah, next week, mate. I was just like...
Same old story.
I was like, man, this is not it. And then, you know, I couldn't speak to anyone about business. I was just speaking about friends and family, but they don't get it. They think they know at the family barbecues and they think they know everything about business, but they don't. Like that's the truth. And I've got no issue with saying that. Like it's, you know, they mean well, but they can't, because a lot of the advice was, well, that's what it is. But it's not.
Like, you can control it. Yeah.
That's not what it is. Being owed $200K, 23, 24, doing all the right things. That's not it.
What did you do in business to bring your debtors from 200-300 grand to down to a more reasonable amount?
Well, I had a cold call from one of my first mentors, and they taught me everything about marketing. They weren't in the electrical industry. They're not electricians themselves, but they taught me the ins and outs about marketing. And as we're doing construction, we're still doing the mum and dad customers, right? And I was thinking like, wow, this is at that same point. If I could do this every day, just work for mums and dads, like this is great. We're charging these rates and they're happy. They're making us cake, coffee. Like this is brilliant. We're not getting yelled at by builders, getting whipped at. Like I need you here now, like with no notice.
Yeah.
And they taught me about marketing, and then I just went from there. It just went gun ho. I just went next.
So marketing took it to the next.
Learning marketing, and then as soon as I learned about the mentoring space as well, I was just like, well, that's awesome. So I can just pay a consultant this sort of fee to get me to this position. Like,
no brainer.
Right?
Yeah. No brainer.
And it's funny because that's different to what the advice I was getting. Everyone at the family barbecues were saying, no, they're all full of it. They don't know what they're doing. I know what I'm doing. And especially being Greek, that's how they are at the family barbecue. They're like,
I'm older than you. I know exactly what you should be doing and not you. Yeah.
Can't stand that. I can't stand that, right? You don't know what you don't know. And mate, the age thing it means nothing. Just because you got 30 years in the game doesn't mean you got 30 years of experience, right? You got 1 year, 30 times. Huge on that. Yeah, so then I started, I took the leap of faith, learned about that, got mentors, got consultants, went to America to learn their way of doing things because I know a lot of people don't vibe with them, but I love the Americans, love their business philosophy. I love
the collaboration.
Yeah, they're huge on collabs. They're huge on just that equal service to equal transaction. It's a big core value in also all my businesses. Like, we do pride ourselves on that. So the Americans just had a different tang on what the Australians were doing. And now I'm bringing that, and I've implemented the American model into my business. And now I'm implementing it. Yeah, now I'm showing also other Sparkies how to implement the American models. Yeah.
So let's get into that, right? So you've built Olympic Electrical, your first baby. That's now Olympic Electrical is now going to high school. You can kind of leave that one alone. And
that's automated.
Yeah, that's right. So now you've got Sparky sales systems.
Yeah.
And how did this business idea come about?
Yeah, awesome.
And how long have you been at it?
Well, it's part of a few business practice groups. And after getting Olympic to a turnkey operation, which is, so I don't quote, I don't sell the jobs, I don't complete the jobs in the day-to-day business operations now. So it's, like I said, it is automated. So
Just sit back and collect. Really.
Yeah, but look, it's be in the Bahamas and this and that. Now it's, I said this to you off camera as well. Like there is wishful thinking as well. Like you still need to be on top of your KPIs. I check the KPIs every day, right?
Yes.
It's a must. So I do that every day. I've got the KPIs open in real time as well. So I do monitor it. But in terms of the day-to-day operations, we have automated it, and with all the technicians know their KPIs to hit, and it runs autonomously. So, I've been 5 weeks in Greece just recently, just come back, and there's been no drops. Everyone's been runs like a
you can sleep at night.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. I can sleep at night. It's been a well-oiled machine, but it wasn't always like that, right? So we pivoted from construction to the service game, implemented the service model. And I think I lost the question. What was the question before I went too left field?
Making the switch from Olympic Electrical, because now it's a turnkey operation, to the digital.
I was part of a lot of best practice groups, and a lot of electricians were asking me, but they were asking me the questions, and it was the same questions, but they were asking me in traffic, so they weren't implementing it. So I was like, all right, let's make a program on exactly how to build a turnkey 7-figure business and run it as a turnkey operation, right? To get people into that threshold, right? Because a lot of people are getting advice from the wrong people. So in real time, like a lot of people have got charge out calculators, like how much to actually charge, how much to price jobs out, things of that nature. And there's a big issue at the moment in the industry that you've got people that are, down low, and then people that are like 4 times the price, right? Or even 10 times the price. And it's like, well, what's going on? It's like, well, I'm not a lot of Sparkies aren't bad blokes, but there are people we'll call it undercutting, yes, but they're not actually understanding their true numbers behind their business. So it's a huge problem. We have we call it a sales strategy, but sales is not a dirty word. If you're not converting jobs into sales, you're not making money, right?
Yeah,
so
correct.
There is a strategy to it, and it's nothing sleazy, nothing, like a used car salesman, nothing like that. So we've got a system that works to get electricians performing in all aspects of business, from, pricing, lead gen, from both online, offline, equally important. And then a sales strategy. As soon as you have those 3 down packed, we want you to nail it and scale that, and then get off the tools.
So effectively, Sparky Sales Systems is a coaching program or consulting program that allows other electricians to grow their business to a 7 million, or not a 7 million, but a $7-figure business.
Yeah, 7-figure business and beyond. Yeah. So depending on the person's risk threshold, and look, everything's sweet. Like not everyone wants to be off the tools, and that's sweet. Some people just want to make more money in their business. The whole 7-figure thing as well can scare a lot of people as well, right? But especially like, because when I speak to a lot of electricians, because we're Australia wide, and a lot of them are wanting to get off the phone straight away because they're so busy, doing it. And it's like, well, if you call me like any time of the day, provided I'm not in a pod or on a Zoom call, I'm picking up the call and I'm saying, hey man, what's up? Like, but when you got that, especially in that infancy stage as a solo operator, you're like, oh my God, I've got to get off this. I've got to quote this. I've got to do that. I've got to do all the admin. I've got to do all this stuff. And it doesn't need to be that way. And I know the technician in the Sparky wants to figure it out themselves, but they don't need to.
Yeah. You've already done it for them.
We've got it there, and it's ready to just be bolted straight onto the business.
Which is really good, right? Because, when I was, and I'm sure other people have done the same, when they go out and look for a business coach or for some sort of help, you're going to get a lot of different Tom, Dick and Harrys. But I think the one that you do want is someone that's actually done it before. So any other Sparkies that are coming to your program, they will see, or should at least have confidence in you to say, hey, this guy's done it before with his business. It's still running, and now he's teaching or passing on the knowledge to others. 100%,
and training exactly how to do it. So we've got the support there, we've got the structure, and it's awesome. We're getting people awesome results, even in rural towns. So when people say, oh, but you're in Sydney.
Tell us about those stories.
We've got people that were working for a company. Even we've got female Sparkies on board and male Sparkies as well. So it's awesome to see females also in the industry.
Yep.
And we've got Sparkies that are, full-time employed, and they've built an ABN and they've notified their employer that they're going to make that step to go out on their own because they're looking to get more out of their life and their business. And that's why we get into it, right?
Yes.
For freedom and, for freedom and to make more. There's nothing wrong with saying that. You can say it. Like the Americans welcome it. You're allowed to make profit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right.
And
you're allowed to be free.
You're allowed to. You're in business. If you're not making money, if you're not making profit, and it's not doing wrong by the customer, there's nothing wrong with, and I'm open with saying it, there's nothing wrong with making a profit and looking after your team, right? Because if you're charging, you can't then pay your guys what they deserve, right? So everyone has to win. You have to build a winning team, and that's what helps make it automated, right? So everyone has to lift up. But we've got guys that, you know, go from 1 truck to 3 trucks within 3 months. You know what I mean? We've got guys that are keen just to make big sales, so they're cracking. You know, they go from making, you know, a turnover of 15 grand a month to now 15 grand a week.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah. So huge. Like it's awesome. Like they couldn't see past 15 grand. They're like, nah. Like how am I going to do that?
What is it, do you find, like, now that you've done this for 18 months or so, what do you find is the main reason for people not being able to go past that ceiling or go to that next level?
Lack of knowledge and pub chat. The pub ruins you as well a little bit, because if you're speaking to the wrong people, it's the blind leading the blind, right? It's that's what it is. So like my old boss, you know, charged this, or I'm going to charge that. But your old boss wasn't making money. Oh, but he had a boat and this. And in this day and age, 2024, you cannot afford to wing it, right? Like doing things for a case of beer, doing things like, oh, mate, she'll be right. Like that. She'll be right. That's the best and the worst thing about Australia is that she'll be right attitude, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's that she'll be right, like, but she won't be. Like when you get that bass bill, like, is she right? Is she right? No, she ain't. And that's my point, right? Because she won't be right, and it's not normal. Like the amount of electricians I speak to and people in the trades, like I've got plumbers reaching out as well. And we've got, you know, people of all trades because they can sympathize with what I'm saying online, and
they go through the same shit. Yeah.
100%, it's just a different widget, right?
Yep.
And it's like, you know, having a tax debt is not normal. Not being able to pay your supplier bill is not normal. Not being able to pay for your staff is not normal, right? Like you need to have working capital in your business account.
You need to have that cash flow.
You need to have that cash flow, right? So we've got that. And I know a lot of people are just like, like they're used to the pain. There's a better way to do things.
You're right, Spyro. We are used to the pain. I'm used to the pain because we all get into business, as you say, to achieve some sort of freedom, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't maybe until a year and a half ago where I found myself battling myself, and I was in a position where I just had too much time on my hands. Yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck do I do with this time? It's like the last 15, 16 years, I've been working hard, doing things the long way, the hard way, whatever way it is, but I'm just not used to all this free time. So
it becomes very vanilla, right?
Yeah, it's vanilla, and it's what you're used to. And so when I have all this free time, I'm sat there, or I was sat there thinking, what do I do? Right. So, no, it's to your point, we're all like that. And I think it needs, well, firstly, I think we need that sort of self-confidence that we need to change, or at least to ask for help.
Most definitely. It's all right. It's all right not to know everything, right? Forever growing.
It is. You know what? I wish I had the same mindset when I first started business, because I think I'd be a lot further down the line than I am today, right? If I asked for help. Because, you know, as you say, removing ego is a big thing. Being the dumbest in the room is the biggest thing to have.
Big on that.
If you're the smartest in the room, well, you're not growing. You're not doing, you're teaching, which, you know, it's not bad at times. It feels good to teach others, but you always love to learn.
You want to get out of the kids pool, right? The kids pool's fun.
Yeah.
But, you know, the adult
pool's
fun.
It's all right being a big boss for a day.
Yeah.
You know, but that's it. No, that's good. So in terms of Sparky sales system, what's kind of the end goal with that and for yourself?
Yeah, definitely. Like I'm really enjoying it. It sounds really cliche, I know, but it's like, you know, I'm most valuable helping other Sparkies. Like it really is. Like I'm getting the text messages, I'm getting the emails of, I've just had this win, you know, like I never thought I could hit these numbers. I've never thought business could be like this or this simple to do. So we're definitely going to grow it, keep getting members. We're hyper focused on electricians, and we're not just hyper focused on electricians, but electricians in the service game, because I'm now completely out of construction, and people go, what? So you're telling me that if a builder comes to you and says, quote units or townhouses or or whatever it may be, a luxury house, we don't quote it. We know our niche, we stick to our niche, and it's a niche that works. It's recession proof, both in B2B and both B2C, equally important. And we're going to keep leveling up, keep scaling it, keep getting more members, and lift up the whole industry, because if the whole industry, especially in the B2B space, you don't have to be a brain surgeon for it, right?
The foundation.
The foundations.
Where the baseline should be, if everyone can operate at that line, everyone's going to win even more.
100%. You're right. It's a recession-proof business. AI is used to help us in this, but they can't replace us. as tradesmen. So, you know, we welcome AI to help and make our business more efficient, but it's a recession-proof business and it'll be forever a job in the trades. Particularly electrical, right?
You know, with creating your Sparky sales system, that's effectively you shitting out your IP of growing your own business into, I guess, a program which people can now sign up on. Was there a lot of work involved in creating that?
There was, but it was so enjoyable, right? Like for me, like that's just how I think. I'm just like, yes. And then I'm one of those guys, and I know some people can say it gets annoying, but if I see something good and I just have like a brain explosion, I'm just like, man, you got to get on this. Like
that shiny new toy. It's like, I think I'm the same as you. It's like you see it and you want to spend a bit of time on it, right?
And if it just makes sense and it's just like, oh my God, like there's this new way that's just so much easier and it's this and that, like, man, use this software. And that's me. Like, I just can't help it. And people are like, oh, what do you want? Shut up. And I just can't help myself.
With that business now running, do you find that you have to, because, you know, you spend a bit of time recording the videos, the program itself, getting all the content together. What about now? Now that that's loaded, do you find that you're spending more time, not necessarily upgrading it, but maintaining and building upon the program?
Definitely. So we're forever growing, and I've massive. I think it's like, it really is kindergarten, which is making a smaller bite of a bigger pie. Yeah. Like that is, I'm huge on. So to scale anything, that's what you need to do. You need to let go and you need to delegate tasks to other people. So even in Sparky sales systems, we've got people, we know we've got staff as well, full time, that are, you know, on doing the onboarding process. Yeah. You know, doing the calls on the Zooms, we've got guests and things like that. And then, you know, same with Olympic, that's how it got automated, right? I was able to take, again, a smaller bite of a bigger pie, which we have a clear method of communication between employees to management to director, right? So everyone knows their role, and it's awesome. Like we've even had,
that's so good.
And people think, oh, but your staff no, I've got staff that are super uncoachable, and they welcomed it because of the way we onboarded these systems into our companies, right? And they welcome it because they go, just because you employ a tradesman, it doesn't mean they know what they're doing. Same with all industries, right? Just because they're in that profession doesn't mean they know what they're doing. Yeah. So training's a forever thing. So you got to train stuff, delegate tasks, and then scale. Yep. Yeah. Otherwise, if you're not growing, you're going backwards, right?
Yep. Is there, you know, running two businesses, what's a tip that you'd like to share to anyone looking to either start or currently running their own business to grow?
To grow, you have to have it in a turnkey operation first. Has to be that, right? It has to be profitable and in a turnkey position. Otherwise, you'll be putting out fires in one company and then trying to put out fires in the next company, and it's going to be a mess.
Yes.
We see it also in the trades a lot when people leverage out and bolt on aircon and plumbing and other services into their business.
Just too much shit to manage.
It's too much. And it's like, well, you started as like, say, an electrician, but now you're adding a plumbing division and an aircon division, which you've got no idea about, right? Different widgets, yes, but you need to have a clear pipeline of communication. That's the biggest thing, right? Everyone needs to know exactly what they're doing, report to the managers. So then when you are managing different companies, you're then speaking to, you know, the 2IC or the management or, you know,
you're not speaking to multiple people, you're speaking to the people that know what's going on.
100%. And in dot form, like no paragraph. We've got a rule at Olympic and at Sparky Sales, no paragraphs. Everything's in dot points.
Why is that?
No one's going to read it, but things get missed in paragraph, right? And just dot point straight to the point. That's how we've done it. And it works really well. Like it's easy for, you know, technicians, because especially in the trades, look, you're scaling a business with people that most commonly, and I'm a tradie, I'm a Sparky, so I can say it, but at high school, all the people throwing stuff at ceiling fans, telling the teacher, shut up, you know,
that's us.
That's us. You're scaling a business with that sort of, you know, that's your internal customers, right?
Yeah.
That's your staff are those sort of people. So you need to speak to their language.
Well, words aren't their first language like mine.
Perfect.
Right? So you just have dot points straight to the point. That's not F about.
100%. And we only want to put job notes. Like we've got job notes. We've got a system that works and it's easy to, you want to nail it, then scale it, right? And keep it simple, stupid, massive on that. You have to.
That's a good one. Nail it and scale it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you need it all nailed down before you scale. Otherwise, just what are you scaling?
And I've seen it. Like I've got members that do $3 million a year in turnover as electricians, and it's they're not making the money that they should be making. Like, there's money there, but it is a real glorified wage. And it is a mess. Like it's putting up fires every day, and they're 1 month away from.
Yeah, it's funny because there's people that you speak to and they like to harp on about how much they turn over, but really what's left over, and that's the issue.
It's about leftover, right?
What's left over? You can turn over as much as you want, but what's left over, man? Because if there's nothing left over, well, you've got no business, really.
100%, and no fun.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Spyro, that's all we have time for today. Thank you for joining us. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
I'll see you next time.
A legend. Appreciate it. Awesome.
So if you're about to begin your business journey or you're currently going through your business journey, tune into future episodes so that you can learn more and find a supportive community. Otherwise, follow me on LinkedIn for more.